James was an American soldier serving in World War II. He was part of a reconnaissance unit that was tasked with gathering intelligence behind enemy lines. One day, his unit received a report of a concentration camp located deep within enemy territory. James and his team were tasked with scouting the camp to gather information about its location, size, and the number of prisoners being held there. James and his team traveled for days, sneaking past enemy patrols and avoiding detection. Finally, they arrived at the camp, hidden in the dense forest surrounding it. They observed the camp from a distance, taking note of the high barbed wire fences, the guard towers, patrol routes, and the prisoners walking around in ragged clothes. James was horrified by what he saw. He had heard rumors of these concentration camps, but to see one with his own eyes was a different matter altogether. The prisoners were emaciated and looked like they were on the brink of death. The guards were brutal and treated the prisoners with utter cruelty. Men, women and children all being marched and herded like cattle around the grounds. James and his team quickly gathered as much information as they could about the camp and its layout. They took photographs, made sketches, and recorded their observations. They knew that this information would be crucial in helping to liberate the prisoners and bring an end to the horrors of the camp. After they finished their reconnaissance mission, James and his team returned to their base, where they debriefed their commanding officer and provided him with the information they had gathered. The information they had collected was used to plan a liberation mission, which would help to save thousands of prisoners and bring an end to the horrors of the concentration camp. James was part of a larger mission to liberate the concentration camp that he had scouted. He and his unit were assigned to lead the charge and secure the camp, making sure that the prisoners were safe and the guards were either captured or neutralized. The mission began in the early morning hours, with James and his team infiltrating the camp under the cover of darkness. They quickly and quietly secured the perimeter, taking control of the guard towers and neutralizing any midnight guards on patrol. James, while advancing in between the prisoner quarters, ran into a German soldier. Their eyes met, and a moment of hesitation in the young German's actions allowed James to lift his M1 Garand and let fly 2 rounds into the man's chest. The prisoners, initially frightened by the sudden commotion, soon realized that they were being rescued and began to cheer and shout in joy. James and his team worked tirelessly to secure the camp, rounding up the guards and taking control of the buildings. They set up medical stations to tend to the prisoners, who were in dire need of food, water, and medical attention. The liberation of the camp was a major turning point in the war and made headlines around the world. But more importantly, it was a major turning point in James's life. He had witnessed the worst humanity had to offer, and the best thanks to his brothers in arms. James and the men of his team were hailed as heroes and were awarded numerous medals for their bravery and selflessness. He never forgot the horrors he had seen at the camp and dedicated the rest of his life to fighting against hate and cruelty in all forms. Years later, James visited the former site of the concentration camp with his family and was heartened to see that it had been transformed into a memorial and museum, honoring the lives of those who suffered and died there. He felt a deep sense of pride and satisfaction in knowing that the mission he had been a part of had helped to bring about a better world for future generations.